This is my little patch for right this minute. And my goal today is to continue to amend this soil. And I came out here to videotape it for everybody, and come to find out it started to rain. But this is Hawaii, and so I know it'll stop in a minute, and we'll get right to the video. Alrighty then. Looks like it's gonna hold out for a little while. Lots of different philosophies when it comes to gardening. I got my roots. I got my roots in permaculture, and it caught fire, and it made me want to garden the old-fashioned way. I wondered how they did it back before we had all of our fancy soils and stuff. So when I got this, inherited this little piece of property here, I had to dig up banana trees. This was originally overgrown California grass, which you might be able to see some of that in the background, that insidious stuff. And a little patch of bananas that had bunchy top. They were diseased. And so they had cut down the trees, but the stumps still remained. So the first thing I did 6 months ago was dig up those stumps as best I could. I put in some organic composts and soils, and had some aphids, had some problems with that, few pest problems. So once I got the dirt uncovered, I sprinkled birdseed, and I introduced some birds so that they could eat. They love those aphids, yeah. Anyway, so what I've been doing since then is potting plants. I make seedlings and sometimes sell to market. And I've been doing raised beds for the food that I eat. And in the meantime, things that don't work, I turn them back into the soil. There was a farmer's market a little while back that I had planted for, I had anticipated, and then it got canceled. So some of my little plants didn't make it. So mainly I'm going to turn those plants back into the soil, and I do have some compost in there, organic compost. I use ProMix 50/50 for my soil to plant in. I use Minihuni Magic for my compost. These were just kind of weakling. They didn't quite make it my eggplant. Some of it's doing well over there, but this didn't really thrive. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go back into the soil, yeah. And same with this little fella. Love you, little fella. Now I'm going to show you as soon as I have a free hand that I've done this, and it has started a little bit of a food forest. At this point, I just want to get the soil healthy. Whatever grows, whatever volunteers, I'll let it go. I'll be grateful for it. But some of it just gives some good minerals. Alrighty, so I had a few technical difficulties, but we got done in time. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. So first thing I did was take some of my plants that were not going to fruit, they were not thriving, and I turned them into the soil. And then I went in with some worm castings and that I had been keeping over there on the side, and I mixed it with some compost and a little bit of peat moss, I'm going to go ahead and turn this in. Hopefully I see some nice worms in there, some wildlife going. And so there's a million ways to do this, but I just like to play in the dirt. And then the last thing I'm going to add is just a sprinkling of peat moss. And this is the peat moss. It's going to hold the moisture a little bit, but I don't want to make it too airy, because I have a feeling that when I took out so much of what had been here before, that it was pretty airy. So here's this little area, which will hopefully be a new home for this eggplant. I think the eggplant. I think that the eggplant would be a lovely addition to this garden right here. So that's it.